You have probably heard or seen a press conference where the governor of the National Bank of Rwanda was explaining the monetary policy decisions, and probably asked yourself, what does this decision mean to me as an individual or as a business? We are pleased to have Dr. 𝐤𝐤𝐭𝐡 today with us, the Chief Economist of the National Bank of Rwanda, and he will be helping us demystify the implications of the central bank rate on businesses. There is this question that most people tend to ask themselves. Would you please mind explaining to the people what the central bank rate is?
The central bank rate is the main tool that the central bank uses for its monetary policy. The National Bank of Rwanda main mandates, there are two: ensuring price stability and financial sector stability. In order to ensure price stability, we use monetary policy and monetary policy tools, and the main one is the central bank rate. Central bank rate is the rate at which the central bank lends to commercial banks.
Following up on that question, I would like to ask, what does the central bank rate mean to a person conducting business or just a normal citizen of Rwanda?
Any person, any citizen, one way or another, participates to the economy in the country, either by consuming things or as a business is by producing or by selling goods and services, right? So they all participate through either their consumption, their investment, to what is happening throughout the economy. So the central bank rate, what does it mean for economic actors? That's how we call everyone actively participating. It's you, it's me, it's everyone. The central bank rate is the signal of monetary policy. So in other words, when the central bank is increasing the central bank rate, which was the case recently, it is because the central bank is trying to fight inflation. So what does it mean for economic actors? It means that inflation that we are seeing right now, that is really high, is not good for businesses. You're talking about business. That's not good for businesses. It's not good for consumers because eventually that's actually prices are high for people to buy and demand these goods and services. So the signal here is the central bank increasing its central bank rate. It means that the central bank is trying to fight inflation so that inflation comes down and then comes down to an acceptable level for everyone, businesses, people, consumers, etc. And this acceptable level is around 5%, so between 2 and 8% broadly.
Currently, there has been rising inflation, and the central bank has taken the decision to increase the central bank rate from 6 to 6.5%. Why did exactly the central bank rate be increased by the National Bank of Rwanda to 6.5%?
Yes, building up what I was saying, the main reason why the central bank decided to increase the central bank rate is not only the case in Rwanda, it's the case in most countries, by the way, both in advanced economies, even in Africa. All central banks who are pushing this mandate of price stability and using this tool of the central bank rate have decided to increase the central bank rate. So the reason is, by increasing the central bank rate, right, you are what we call tightening monetary policy, and you are trying to affect aggregate demand. So demand of goods and services from all these actors we are talking about, from people, from consumers, from businesses who are buying from others. So we are trying to affect this demand in a way that actually prices can stabilize. Because now prices have been increasing this year, and we've been discussing the reasons why. We have two supply shocks. One is global, coming from the war in Ukraine, coming from COVID pandemic globally, that has led to mismatch between global supply and demand. Prices have increased, international prices. And then another one is more domestic, where we have weather shocks, and again, things coming from the impact of the war in Ukraine affecting our agriculture production, and food prices going up. So what the central bank, and that's the case for actually a lot of countries, is trying to do is to affect the demand so that prices stabilize and then inflation goes down back to the objective of the central bank. So the central bank, in few words, increasing the central bank rates means for economic actors, the central bank is using its monetary policy tools to fight inflation. Inflation is too high. When the central bank is, that's the opposite, it's not happening right now, but if the central bank is decreasing the central bank rate, that's the opposite. It means that inflation either is very low or is low enough so that we can increase money supply and aggregate demand.